Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're uncovering how the golden age of discovery is happening right now. And guess what? We aren't doing it with shovels, we're doing it from space. For centuries, our understanding of history was totally limited by what we could physically dig up out of the dirt. But today, we're swapping out the trowel for the satellite. So that brings us to a pretty massive question. How exactly do you find a city that the Earth has just swallowed whole? Tracking down legendary empires that have completely vanished from the map is a fascinating mystery. And the answer to this doesn't lie in looking closer at the ground. It actually lies in looking down from the stars. What's really interesting here is that nearly a century ago, the famous explorer T.E. Lawrence realized that viewing the desert from above was really the only way to find its hidden secrets. He had this incredible dream of using an airship to search the massive Arabian desert for the lost castles of King Ad. He knew the ground view was way too limited, but he simply lacked the space-age tools that we possess today to make that dream a reality. Section 1. Legends lost to time. Since the dawn of civilization, we've been absolutely captivated by stories of lost lands. We're talking everything from the fabled Atlantis of the sands, hidden deep in the Arabian desert, all the way to the forgotten superpowers of the ancient world. But did you know early space technology actually began cracking these ancient cold cases back in the 1980s? What we're looking at here is a scan from the Space Shuttle Imaging Radar, or SIRA, and this tech absolutely shocked the world. It revealed ancient riverbeds, paleochannels that were hidden beneath meters of bone-dry Sahara desert sand. The radar's microwaves literally penetrated the dry subsurface, completely proving that the desert wasn't always just a barren wasteland. Section 2. The limits of the shoveled. To truly appreciate this space-age technology, we really have to talk about the immense physical barriers of traditional archaeology. Early explorers trying to find these mythical cities on foot, they were completely defeated by the sheer scale, the dense forests, and the shifting sands. Take the Empty Quarter, for example. It covers a massive third of the Arabian Peninsula in deep, shifting dunes. For thousands of years, it was this incredibly hostile environment that physically blocked any traditional excavation. Because let's be real, you simply can't dig up a desert that is constantly blowing in the wind. Section 3. The Space Age Detective. Enter LiDAR, light detection and ranging. This is an active remote sensing technology that uses rapid laser pulses fired from an aircraft to generate amazingly accurate 3D models of the Earth's surface. Think of it like this. It's a mind-blowing technology that essentially functions as a giant X-ray for archaeologists. It completely strips away surface distractions with absolute vertical accuracy right down to just a few centimeters. It's an absolute game changer. Just look at the incredible contrast here. Over on the left, we have an optical aerial view of Copered. To the naked eye, you just see trees, right? It's just a dense forest canopy. But on the right, the LiDAR data has been filtered to completely strip away that entire canopy. And suddenly, boom, the hidden historical trenches, terraces, and features of past human activity are revealed in perfect 3D relief. Now, when scanning from orbit or from the air, researchers aren't actually looking for obvious, fully intact buildings. Instead, they're hunting for these very subtle, specific anomalies that indicate humans once modified the landscape. They're looking for buried stone foundations that might stunt plant life on the surface. They're looking for tiny variations in thermal energy, or even differences in radar reflection. These faint signals are literally the digital footprints of our ancestors, and they are completely invisible to anyone just walking right over them. Section 4. Finding Atlantis of the Sands. So let's look at the legendary lost city of Ubar. It's fascinating to contrast the religious legends with the actual archaeological reality here. The myth, Iram of the Pillars, tells of an opulent, wicked city destroyed by divine wrath and swallowed whole by sandstorms. But the reality uncovered by researchers, it's incredibly compelling on its own. It wasn't a sprawling metropolis. It was actually a 2,000-year-old caravanserai fortress. And it wasn't destroyed by a storm from above. It actually collapsed into a massive sinkhole because the inhabitants essentially destroyed their own city by drinking all their water and completely depleting the underlying foundation. Okay, so how did they actually find it? Well, it was a brilliant three-step process. First off, they analyzed ancient 2nd century maps drawn by the geographer Ptolemy. Second, they utilized NASA satellite imagery to spot ancient, hidden camel tracks pressed deep beneath those shifting sands. And third, they followed those tracks right to a convergence point at the Shizr Well, where physical excavation finally revealed the true ruins of Ubar.
Section 5. Mapping the Great Empires.
Now, beyond finding single fortresses out in the desert, these non-destructive tools are allowing us to map out massive, completely forgotten empires. Case in point, the Kingdom of Axum. Back in the 3rd century, it was considered one of the 4 great powers of the world, literally standing shoulder to shoulder with Rome, Persia, and China. It was this sprawling, monumental civilization in northeast Africa. And today, its incredible scale can be mapped perfectly without turning a single spade of dirt. Tracing the timeline of Axum's rise and fall is just fascinating. We can see exactly how it grew into an absolute superpower. It was established in the 1st century, right on a major trade route between Rome and India. Then, around 325 AD in the 4th century, King Izana adopted Christianity. By the 6th century, the kingdom reached its absolute peak under Caleb, controlling an astonishing 2.5 million square kilometers. But then, by 960 AD, the kingdom mysteriously collapses into a historical dark age. It left behind these vast cultural landscapes, palaces, stelae, trade routes that we are just now fully uncovering, all thanks to remote sensing. So knowing that this non-destructive technology is currently preserving our past for the future, I really want to leave you with this final thrilling thought. With lasers peering beneath the sands and forests from up in orbit, what forgotten empire is waiting to be found right beneath your feet? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep your eyes on the ground, or actually scratch that, keep them on the sky.